What a way for Bowling Green to begin the home slate as Patrick Anders joins us now from the Toledo Blade. And Patrick, Eastern Kentucky, we talked last week it was going to be a tough game. I don't think we expected 7 overtimes of toughness, but that is what happened as Bowling Green loses a historic matchup against the Colonels.
No, Mark, this was the kind of game where the novelty of the game almost overtakes like what actually happened, the actual outcome. But it was a bad loss for Bowling Green. They had to have this one over Eastern Kentucky. Path to a bowl game looking very thin, but there's still a lot of football left to be played.
The good news, Matt McDonald named Matt Co-Offensive Player of the Week. You have 7 overtimes, you can put up some stats like that. But Matt McDonald showed some courage from this Falcon team down in the second half, came back and took the lead in the fourth quarter. I think a lot of people maybe wrote off the Falcons in that third quarter. They came back and took that lead.
Yeah, McDonald desperately needed that performance after UCLA. It was pretty shaky, even by the standards of him playing against Power 5 competition. He gets 5 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, I think 283 yards, something like that. I think it was just big for him to see the ball go into the receiver's hands and get into the end zone. He finds Tyrone Broden for a touchdown. He finds C.J. Lewis for a touchdown. BG's able to take the lead. Unfortunately, they're not able to hold on to it.
Yeah, that last drive where last drive in regulation, Eastern Kentucky, aided by some Bowling Green penalties, came back, forced the overtime. That's, I think, the drive that really sticks in your craw if you're a Falcon fan.
Oh, my goodness. That was one of the most incredible football drives I've ever seen. They had Eastern Kentucky dead to rights multiple times. There was a sack on Adrian Wilson had a sack for a loss of 4 yards on the first play of the drive. Could have snuffed it out right there. Instead, Parker McKinney moves his team down the field. They get into striking distance. They have a 3rd and 5. Crucial neutral zone infraction. There was a holding penalty, too. They get to 2nd and 20. And just too many self-inflicted errors. Scott Leffler referred to them this week as critical errors. And that's the kind of thing that it's a mark of a football team that loses these kind of games in close fashion.
Other than Matt McDonald's play, what other positives can Bowling Green take out of this one?
Darren Anders had a very nice game on defense. I was combing through some of the advanced metrics earlier. There was a lot of tackling struggles for Bowling Green, but you want your veteran leaders to step up, and the senior from North Olmsted had a big day. Receiving core all around from Lewis, Oju Hilaire, Tyrone Broden. I think they ended up with 6 receivers with 20 yards or more. If McDonald can distribute the ball like that, that will keep them in games against MAC teams. It couldn't get them to win over Eastern Kentucky, but that's a definite positive for the Falcons going forward.
Doesn't get any easier as this week they welcome in Marshall, and maybe a week ago we thought Marshall was a winnable game, but Marshall knocked off Notre Dame, and all of a sudden the Thundering Herd will thunder into Wood County with a lot of momentum.
I don't think anyone expected Marshall to be one of the most talked about teams in college football, but here they are. Bowling Green gets some more bad luck. They're 20-point favorites. You don't get a lot of Group of 5 teams that are 20-point favorites over other Group of 5 teams, but Bowling Green's in a bit of trouble. Charles Huff's going to have a squad ready. That was a tough defense. They shut down Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a long afternoon for Bowling Green unless they get everybody to click. If they can put together a complete performance, McDonald clicking, the defense clicking, maybe they can make it a game. But Marshall's tough. They're on the doorstep of the top 25 for the first time in 8 years. So it's gonna be a tough test for Bowling Green for sure.
I suppose if you're trying to find some positives with the matchup occurring when it does, is maybe Marshall's going to look past Bowling Green and the Falcons with a chance to pull off the upset.
Yeah. You know, when you're coming off a win like that, where you go into South Bend, you beat a highly regarded Notre Dame team, and you come to a team that just played 7 overtimes against Eastern Kentucky. There might be a tendency to overlook the Falcons, but I don't think that's going to happen with Charles Huff's squad. We'll see if Scott Leffler's squad is up for the challenge.
All right, thank you very much, Patrick Anders from the Toledo Blade, as the Bowling Green Falcons back at the Doit, but before they head to Mississippi State next week.